want you, but I want you, and I'll flaunt you, and I'm freaking. Yes, I want you, and I'm dreaming, and I'm seeking a real feeling. Said I don't want you, but I want you, and I'm winning, and I'm losing.
Hi, I'm Melissa Vincent, and I'm really thrilled to be here with Debby and Ryan to talk about their music video for Focus as part of the MVP Lab sessions that we're running. Debby and Ryan, it would be great if you guys can introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Debby Friday, and I'm a musician, filmmaker, and writer, and I co-directed the music video for Focus with Ryan.
Hey, I'm Ryan Ermacora. I'm a filmmaker and co-directed Focus with Debby.
I'd love to hear about how you've developed a bit of creative language to talk to one another and how you found that that's evolved from project to project.
I would say it's kind of this back and forth. I feel like we both kind of come from these different points of references, but somehow they fit together really well. I find that I learn a lot from Ryan when we're working together, and I don't know, can you say the same thing? Yeah. And so then he learns from me, and it kind of becomes this exchange of experience, of references, of knowledge. And I think it works really well because both of us approach cinema and film and just in general, I think art making from this place where we have an authentic and original way of looking at things, and we want to play around with things non-conventionally.
If one of us doesn't feel confident about a particular aspect of the idea, it's like we always are able to kind of have a thorough discussion about it and really figure out if it's worth doing or not. Yeah. And I feel like if we were making these projects on our own, it would be really difficult because I find it's really easy to fall into kind of like a spiral of self-doubt. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to have confidence that builds from each other.
Definitely.
I'm curious, when you were building out that scope and building out that vision for the project, what parts of the video felt like a scene or a moment that you absolutely had to capture?
Two things that I can think of that we absolutely had to have in the video were, one, the avalanche itself. That was going to happen no matter what. And then the second was the fire bullwhipping. I don't know why, but it just possessed me. I was like, first, I need to get a bullwhip and have it on fire and be whipping it around.
We decided to have these long dolly shots moving through the woods, both at night and during the day. And then the spinning camera and the fire whip and the avalanche. And those were kind of our building blocks of how to construct the film. So they were all kind of equally important because they all kind of needed to exist.
Yeah.
So that everything could kind of mirror itself. Mm-hmm. We did definitely have to make some concessions. I mean, the avalanche was really difficult. We had certain kind of ideas in our mind of what that avalanche shot would be and how easy it would be to achieve. And it turned out to be a very difficult thing to achieve, which is, I guess, unsurprising. And then running through the woods, we had done a lot of scouting, looking at a lot of different forests in the snow. And we probably went on 5 or 6 different scouts. And then when we finally did find the perfect patch of forest that had a good flat road that we could do this long dolly shot on, when we ended up getting there on the filming day, it had gotten a bit warmer and that section had kind of melted and was just kind of a muddy area. And we had on the day, that morning, we had to kind of rescout and find another patch of trees, which ended up working out fine. But we spent so much time finding this perfect piece of forest, and then we ended up not being able to use it in the end.
How do you guys handle that, walking on set or kind of arriving on the day of and you encounter a roadblock in the initial plan?
The strategy is you get 1 minute to kind of freak out and stress, and then you kind of just have to keep it moving. And that's pretty much what we did. It was just okay, this spot is not going to work anymore. And so we just kept pushing and looking for other spots, because thankfully where we were was just this really vast area of land. And so we had options and it ended up working out. We just didn't give up.
It always feels like the whole project is slipping through your fingers, especially when you just first start and you arrive on the day. It always feels like it's just slipping through my fingers, it's not going to happen. And made a huge mistake and we've wasted a lot of people's time.
I know. And
but
money.
And money, yeah. So it always feels that way. And at this point, I'm getting used to the fact that pretty much always happens. Yeah. And you just need to just kind of have
like faith that it'll work out.
Just give yourself some piece of confidence and just know that you have to make a decision so that you can just keep moving forward.
You know, watching the video, it begins with a disclaimer, and I wonder if you had an idea that would be the case early on, or it came to fruition as you were filming or going through post-production and people are feeling a little dizzy.
As far as the warning, we didn't anticipate it before. I don't think we knew, like, going into editing that we would be putting that up there. But then as we were editing and as we were, like, watching the video, I became aware of the fact of, like, you know, there was a lot of flashing, a lot of strobing going on. And like you mentioned, like, there's this disorienting rotation happening. And so we put that there to be on the safe side. Yeah, just in case for people who have any kind of, like, photosensitivities.
Basically what happened is we shot it on film. We had a very particular structure in mind, and we thought we knew exactly how we wanted to edit it before we shot it even. Mm-hmm. But once we got the footage back, we saw that there were some really interesting flash frames, which sometimes can be cheesy, but in this context, we had shot a bunch of material at 5 frames per second at night with Debby running, and it gave us these really interesting kind of streaky frames that we really loved. And so we started putting them in the edit, and the more we put them in, the more Debby got excited about them, to the point where we had a section that was just every other frame was a flash. And I think once we kind of went into that territory where every second frame is flashing, it really becomes like a strobe. And then that's when it became concerning of, like, oh, this actually might be problematic.
Yeah. I wonder if in the video there's a shot or there's a moment or there's an experience that just feels like it really encapsulates either the music video itself or the road you took as you were putting together the video, or just the shot that you're really, really proud of, that you look at it and you're like, this is it.
I'm not sure I'm happy with it all. I mean, I think maybe the one is just the avalanche, which technically isn't that crazy of a shot. It's just being on a mountain and pointing at the right place. But it was just quite an experience to film. And I remember our cinematographer, Jeremy Cox, saying when he was looking through the viewfinder as the avalanche was coming down and he was following it, that he felt like his whole life was leading up to this moment in which his eye is just in the camera, just like having to nail this shot.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the avalanche is also my favorite shot just because of the feat of what it took to film that. I had never done anything like that before or had to, you know, figure out anything like that before. And I felt like it really just showed me just that. I often find working with Ryan, we kind of do this thing where we make impossible things possible. And this was just another aspect of that. Like, with each project that we've done, there's always been some aspect of it that I'm like, how are we even going to do that? And somehow, some way, we end up figuring it out. So yeah, that's my favorite part of this video.
I just want to thank both of you guys for taking the time to chat and think through the video. It's a true and complete work of art, and it has been such a pleasure to get the inside look into it. And to just chat with you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much.
It's been great. Thank you for having us.